If you want to pick one person who sort of prepared the soil for what became Alcoholics Anonymous, in my opinion it would be the American William James. Now, if you're one of those people that feels like you didn't quite live up to the family standard, then William James is a guy that you ought to really get to know. His grandfather was a self-made millionaire, became the wealthiest man in America at a time when the wealthy in America were considered royalty and aristocracy. His father was a very, very famous minister in New England. His godfather, Ralph Waldo Emerson, was arguably the greatest writer of his time. His brother was a Civil War hero who died in battle. And young William was pretty much by all accounts a screw-up. He managed to get into Harvard Medical School largely through his family connections. By his own admission, he had several long bouts of what we now call depression. In those days they call it melancholia. He, as a medical student, he often complained about these mysterious back pains, which I can tell you that there's more than one person in AA meetings who can tell you about and identify with those mysterious back pains. However, after he graduated from Harvard Medical School, he went to South America, and we're not exactly certain what happened at South America, but we know that when he came back he was a totally different person. And he totally changed turned his life around. And that was the time when there were several people that were saying that we need to use scientific methods to explore human behavior and human thinking. So he decided that if nobody else was going to step up and do it, he was going to do it. So he quite literally created psychology. He taught the very first psychology class at Harvard. And he spent a great deal of time looking into, talking to science, but he was much more interested in religion, spirituality, clairvoyance. He was very interested in the stream of consciousness, where thoughts came from. And he kind of didn't fit in with the mainstream of psychology, which was trying to move more in the direction of science and trying to distance themselves from these other topics that William James was interested in. And also, William James did not spend a great deal of time doing experiments. He was very, very pragmatic. Matter of fact, he is largely considered an inventor of pragmatism. His attitude is, if it works, use it. That's all you need to know. Move on. Let's get working on something else. Now, he was very important to Alcoholics Anonymous because among the things he did was he wrote a book called Varieties of Religious Experiences, which is actually mentioned in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It was a huge influence, and it has been said that some of the people that William James talked about in his book Varieties of Religious Experience actually later became some of the first 100 members of Alcoholics Anonymous.